start this a short tutorial on how to paint a simple landscape with a human figure. Okay, welcome to my workshop, and I'm painting from my kitchen instead of my studio. So let me show you the reference that we're going to do for our short tutorial today. I have started with the background. Like I always say, when you're painting in acrylic, you can start with the background and work your way from the back to the front. So our palette for this painting is ito, cobalt blue for the sky. Basis for my color palette is the main subject, which is the girl. So I picked Prussian blue, cobalt blue, white. So nag-get akong green. Grass green, medium yellow, and my favorite dioxazine violet. Yan lang. That's all the palette that I have, and that's all the colors I will use for both the background and the subject. Okay, now we're going to be painting in acrylic, and we're going to do a quick painting. Like I always say, the best retarder for acrylic is you work fast. There are no such retarder. Pas-pasan lang. Done with the background, now we're on to to paint the next part, which is going to be, let's lay on the water first. Now, there's going to be water, a small pond or lake here. Now, kung saan colors of water, the colors of the water should be the colors that's everywhere in the picture. So the colors of the water should have the blues, the Prussian blues and the greens that we put in the background, the cobalt blue and white of the sky. Okay, so everything, all the colors that you have on your palette should be on the water as well. Now, we're in painting water like I teach in my workshop. We do the brush down and scratch na lang itong tawag technique. So, brush down the colors in quick strokes. We're painting still water. So, reflection is not a problem. You don't need to do an identical shape of the things that are above ground. Now, when you're putting in the colors, you have to make sure that you reflect the colors in its approximate location above ground. So, if there's a dark blue there, you make sure that there's that in the water. If there's a yellow highlight there, you make sure that in approximate distance of the water, you also have that. Okay. If you can observe, we have very few lines, we have very few drawings. I'm using my favorite angled flat brush because it's very flexible, it's very versatile. You can do practically everything with it. Now, I have painted my background foliage in cool colors. I've cooled down everything with whites and the cobalt blue, and I'm going to warm up the color, the same colors on the reflection of the water with a little bit of yellow ochre and more of the yellow ochre, and darken it with the diox violet so that it's a warmer tone than the background. Now, you don't have to worry about being precise about the colors for now. What you need to do is just lay on the colors, because you remember you're working in acrylic and you can layer your colors. You can go back later and check for spaces that need more work. Spots that you need to darken or spots that you need to lighten some more, then you can go back and do that. So as you observe, to paint water, I do the brush down and then the horizontal stroke technique. That's imitating the ripples of the water. This is very easy to do. That's why I always tell my students, water is the easiest thing. Still water. I mean, moving water, of course. If it's still water, then you have to paint the exact reflection, exact image, mirror image reflection on the water. So you can layer your colors. You can pick up one color at a time and then go back and then brush. That's the beauty of painting and impressionism. You can come up with techniques that will make your life easier. So it's a combination of looking at your reference, studying your reference, and just working with your what you know about the physics of things. How light plays, how this should look like according to the laws of physics. Of course, the rules of color theory. Cool colors in the back, warmer colors in the foreground. So, in the far end of our water part, the lines should be closer together because the ripples are farther, so you have fine lines there. You can use a brush stroke. That's what you can use your brush in at the broad side of your brush, okay, to give your water up. Your ripples are closer together. When you come to the foreground, you can make your lines come apart a little bit more, like this. Okay, I will show distance. Your reflection image with highlights on the sky. Okay, we'll go back to our water later. Let's complete the water first on this side. You have to remember to pick up lots of paint in your brush, so you have a big load to work with on the brush. Don't skip the paint when you're doing water. And no, instead of glazing, when you're painting on wet technique, a la prima with acrylic, you don't need to glaze. What you can do is to carry white with the colors on your brush. That will give you the glazed effect. The glazed look, not effect. It's fun to treat your acrylic like oil and not like watercolor. So more fun to use acrylic. Fun way to use acrylic. Okay, so later you can go back and check on spots that need work in terms of contrast and light and reflection. Okay, right now, all the colors that you have, the colors that we have on the palette are colors that should be used everywhere. Remember, it's going to be the colors that we need for every part of our painting, including the foreground. So right now, before your paint dries up on you, you can go and lay on your colors in the other parts of your painting. You can work on the foreground now. Quickly lay on your foreground colors, and I usually start with my dark underpaint. Now my dark underpaint is going to be a warmer tone in the foreground, so I will use a lot of the dioxazine violet and less of the Prussian blue. And you don't have to cover the whole foreground with your underpaint. Just quickly lay on some underside. This is going to be the underside of your grass area. And then quickly, while the dark underpaint is still wet, you can also lay on your grass colors. Your base green first, which we're using grass green for this purpose, and we will come back and highlight later. It's important to work fast and get some of the purples and the blues mixed into your green for now to make it look like a natural shadow color. Remember that in the workshop we always say that we will paint shadows with cool colors and highlights and lights with warms. So that means we will use the yellows with the greens to paint the light side of our grass. The lightest highlight areas will be painted with lots of yellows and white. Now, this is the time when you get to check for contrast. So see if this grass part is light compared to the water part right next to it. The water part right next to it is a dark blue-green, so you can go back and work on that later. For now, latagsa ang grass color. So, yes, as you can see, I work in a random brush stroke. Okay, and then remember the rule that I always say. Remember the 1-inch square rule. Check for areas in your painting ground and check for areas that have the same tone, the same color. If you have a 1-inch square space that has the same color, then that's going to be flat. Put variation in your color tone. So you need to go back and so I'm going to cool up. This is going to be a shadow part right here. There's going to be a tree up here that's casting a shadow on the ground where the girl is sitting. Okay, but we're going to cool up the shadow part in the farther part of the grass and use less yellow, so that this is going to be a warmer tone, still in shadow, but going to be a warmer shadow tone than the part in the far end. So how are you going to cool down a shadow color, a dark value? We're going to use grass green. We're using grass green, Prussian blue, dioxazine violet, yellow, and white for the grass part. Now, you're going to make a, what do you call this? You're going to make a cooler shadow color in the back part and a warmer shadow color, a warmer dark value in the foreground. Okay? Now, how do you do that? Whites and blues. Okay?